Hart activates his surveillance system as he lies in his bed. He discovered that the castle soldiers all have returned with severe injuries. The medic unit tries their best to heal the wounded, but to no avail. Hart then approaches his father, who is sitting in a corner. He reveals that the province has recently been experiencing a wave of attacks from thieves. He then received information about the thieves' base and led his army there, hoping to catch them off guard. However, they were unexpectedly ambushed and destroyed by the thieves. Hart remains silent and obediently leaves. But on his way back, he got mad at Flay when she mocks the royal soldiers for being beaten by a band of thieves. Hart tells her to shut up. On his way back, Hart secretly uses his magic to completely heal all the wounded soldiers, which surprised everyone. In the middle of the night, Hart wakes up to find Flay weirdly just standing outside his room. He then asks her if she has been waiting there the whole time, but she doesn't respond. Hart realized that Flay is following his order that he had given her to shut up back then. Hart apologizes for losing his temper and gives Flay her permission to speak again. He then takes her to the castle's rooftop to show her the surveillance system he has set up for the entire province. He then reveals that he wants to locate the thieves who attacked his father and the royal soldiers. He thus spots the gang of thieves who is celebrating in the woods and notices that some of them are dressed as soldiers. Realizing that this is the location where his father's men were ambushed, Hart, after big brain thinking, told Flay that the thieves must have known about the planned attack due to a spy within the castle. Determined to eliminate the thieves and uncover the spy, Hart commands Flay to burn their hideout to ashes without leaving any evidence of their involvement. On their way back, Hart decides to send an anonymous letter to his father explaining the events that occurred in the fort. The next day, Gold's advisor learned about the spies from the neighboring kingdom and the annihilation of the fort. The advisor confirms the truth by interrogating the captured thieves, who barely escaped the fire. Meanwhile, Charlotte becomes curious about who dealt with the thieves. Gold assumes it must be Flay given her lack of empathy and superior strength as a demon. However, Charlotte suspects Hart's involvement and seeks answers from Flay. She directly asks if there are two Harts, because she had seen him flying with Flay, but based on her knowledge, Hart shouldn't possess enough mana to fly. So she sneaks into Hart's room and finds him peacefully sleeping, but she notices the absence of his menacing aura. Impressed by Charlotte's perceptiveness, Flay acknowledges that Hart has been blessed with immense power surpassing human limits. She even brags about his greatness. Charlotte, intrigued, asks Flay who Hart truly is. Instead of providing a direct answer, she advises Charlotte not to worry about such trivial matters and focus on her own growth. Flay informs Hart that Charlotte is aware of his night trips and the existence of his clone. Hart decides to increase the surveillance on her to prevent her from discovering his secret. But Charlotte continues to secretly follow him, spying on his study sessions with Flay, observing his training sessions, and even his baths. But Hart the Pro maintains his innocent facade by behaving like an ordinary child. After a week of discreet surveillance, everything seems to return to normal. However, Hart's mother plans to take Charlotte on a trip as the annual festival approaches. Hart suggests that Flay accompany them. Hart asks Flay to intimidate the monsters in the province to prevent them from attacking nearby towns and villages. One night, Hart's surveillance alarm shows that something is wrong with her. The Empire soldiers have ambushed Natalia and Charlotte during their journey, and the soldiers are struggling to defend them. Natalia attempts to run while carrying Charlotte, but the Empire soldiers use his magic to injure her leg. She then follows Charlotte's instructions and got led into a cave. She puts Charlotte to hide inside and went out to face the soldiers. As she is about to not be a prisoner of war, Hart arrives in the nick of time, saving her and swiftly defeats all the Empire soldiers. He then carries Natalia back into the cave where they sought refuge. He then conceals his presence from Charlotte as he alters his voice and instructs Charlotte to take care of her mother until help arrives. Charlotte does sense this intimidating evil aura. She pops out and asks Hart if he is an ally of justice. Hart's mind struggles to comprehend her question, but he decides to play along, telling her that he is indeed a hero of justice. Charlotte, remembering that Flay said, concludes that Hart indeed has been blessed with immense powers. She approaches him and apologizes for misjudging him. Hart tells Charlotte to keep his identity as an ally of justice a secret. Charlotte promises to even lie to her father to protect his secret. He then gives an anonymous letter detailing Natalia and Charlotte's safety during the attack and Flay's presence as their escort, which causes no casualties and all the injured soldiers have been fully healed. Bringing a sense of relief to Gold, he turns to Hart and asks him about his thoughts on the anonymous hero. Hart believes that they are an ally of justice and reassures Gold that they will take care of the Empire soldiers. However, Hart's statement turns out to be very sus because the letter didn't mention that the attackers were actually Empire soldiers. Fearing his father's suspicion, Hart quickly comes up with an excuse to divert his father's attention. Finally, Charlotte and Natalia returns home. Charlotte approaches her brother and hugs him. Everyone is confused as they never even spoken a single word to each other.